Hello and welcome to Amethyst Style Crafting. My name is Jane Allmark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today we're looking at some more gift ideas, craft fair ideas. I know a lot of Christmas craft fairs are going ahead. And these are all projects that I've made a long time ago. As I said to you, I've got a little black book that I have all of my ideas and things that I put in, and I probably haven't made this for 3, maybe 4 years. I don't even know if I've done a video on it, but it's something that I made for gifts, and again this year I'm making them for gifts as well. A lovely little tea light box, and it's a hinged box. So you can open it up and you can put 4 tea lights in there and they fit absolutely nice and snug. So this one I use the Whimsy and Wonder because I really love the iridescent colours on this. Very simple little box to make, and as I say, you can decorate it however you want. So I thought we would do one. This is very much a girly one. So I thought we would do one which was more sort of classic, which would go for a guy as well. So pieces that we're going to need. We're going to need a piece of cardstock. I've chosen black for this one. So I'm going to put it down on, let's put it on the side that I would have scored it. It measures 7 3/4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. Okay, so if we take it on the long side first, so this is your 7 3/4 inches, and you are going to score it at 3/4 of an inch on both sides. So 3/4 of an inch on this side, and then it comes at 7 inches on the other side, or you can turn it round and score it at 3/4 of an inch. On the short side, you need to score it at 3/4 of an inch. You need to score it at 2 1/4 inches. You need to score it at 3 inches. And you need to score it at 4 1/2 inches. Okay, and then that's all that the scoring that you need to do. So I'll put that to one side, and then what I'm going to do is, let me just put this in on here. I'm going to put my little notes in front, so I can put these in like this, bring it up. If you screenshot that now, you will then have the measurements. Okay, so we then need to have some mats for this, and the mats are going to be any designer series paper you want. As I say, I have chosen for this one the Simply Elegant, Elegantly Said, because I really like the copper of this, and it will go with the black, and as I say, will work for more of a masculine feel. These are all going to be 6 inches in length, so 6 inches long, and then they are 1/4 of an inch smaller, so this is by 1 1/4. So 6 inches by 1 1/4, and we need 2 of those. Then we're going to need 2 pieces which are 1/2 inch by 6 inches, and we're going to have 1 of those on the end, 1 of those on the front. So I'm not going to have those on the middle, and then we're going to need 2 pieces to go in on the ends, and these measure 1/2 inch, and they measure 1 1/4 inches to go in along here. So those are our mats which we're going to put on in a minute. So now we need a pair of paper snips, and we are going to, on the edges along this side, so we've got 2 edges which we've got. So if we look at it on this side, these are where we've got our longer rectangles, and these are where we've got the shorter ones. It's the shorter ones we're looking at. They're both exactly the same both sides. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut up, and black is probably not the best colour to use, but we're going to cut up on the rectangles and literally just, so cut inside on your rectangle and then cut a little tiny wedge in on the square part. So up on your rectangle, little wedge, and we'll do exactly the same. So straight up your rectangle and then just wedge in just a little bit in on the sides. Let's just take those two little bits that have just stuck in. And then we're going to do exactly the same thing to the other side. So we're going to go up in on the rectangle, wedge in on the square, up in on the rectangle, wedge in on the square, up in on the rectangle, wedge in on the square. Okay, so we've got our box in, which is then going to go in and it's going to glue together like this. So this is going to be our seam, which we want to have our seam at the back. So we can then take, and it really doesn't matter which side because they're both exactly the same. You need to cut a little thing out of here. You can leave it solid if you want to, but I like to have just a little bit. And again, this is a retard punch, but I'm not going to worry about that because as I say, I use things that are retired. If you want to use a little one of the rectangular dies, you can do punches, any punches that you've got. But first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to stick the designer series paper on first, because then when you go and cut your little piece out of it, it's going to you're going to cut it out of both pieces. It's more difficult if you cut it out and then have to line the thing up. So we're going to put our mats in on here, and because they're 1/4 of an inch, they're fairly easy to just sort of jiggle around to get in the right space. As I've always said to you, I tend to use wet glue because it means that then you have an extra little bit of wiggle room on there. And I try and design, when I'm putting boxes together, which are fairly simple, I try and do them so that you can open them relatively easily. So let's put this one in on this side. And I like things that have got easy openers, because I find boxes on top where you have to ease things out, it's very easy to get them a little bit awry. So we're going to put these 3 pieces on first, and we're going to put the other pieces in at the end, purely because then you will know which bit is going to fold over. So I'm just taking this one, and this one is going to go in on the middle. So again, it's rather lovely because you've got all the different pattern pieces on there. Okay, then what we need to do is we need to look at it, and we're going to have one box which is the bottom and one that is the lid. So this is going to be, if we fold this back just a little bit, I find it's the easiest. So when we're doing the bottom, we need to glue into 2 pieces for this bottom piece to come in. So it's the outside pieces. So if we fold them in, we need to put these 2 little flaps. I'm just going to put some wet glue in, and the 2 little flaps in on here. Put some wet glue in on there. You can use tear and tape if you want to. You can use any form of glue. The stamp, the Seal Plus, But as I say, wet glue for me has always been my friend. So I'm doing all 4 of these tabs first. Not the top ones, just the bottom ones. So the 4 bottom tabs. And then what we're going to do is we are going to make sure that we've got it tight up on the end. And then on this one as well, tight up on the end. And if you just hold it just for a few seconds, you can make sure that it's sealed nicely in. Do exactly the same on the other, so make sure that you've got your edge nice and tight. Whoops. Which, as I say, I've probably chosen exactly the wrong colour to do this with, but I wanted to show 2 ways so that you could do one which, as I say, is more pretty and feminine, and this one I think is really rather pretty in the masculine. So got a little bit of tiny little bit of seepage on here, but that's fine. So you can see you've now got your bottom box, and what I will do is I'm going to put my tea lights in here because it gives just a little bit of stability. Now I've got some scented ones. I don't know what flavour they are, but the side of the box is going to come over the top. So to make sure that you just get a nice fit, but it's not too tight, we're going to glue in the bottom tabs on here, and then the tab in on here, like that. And then we can put this one in. And that's why I tend to close my box up and then make sure that this comes in when the box is closed, because then you get a nice tight fit. And also you know that it's going to open and close quite easily, because what you don't want is for it to be too tight that it's not an easy close. Okay, so we've done this bit. Now we haven't taken, and I don't know whether I'm going to be able to do this now. This one I think is just going to be closed like this, and I'll show you a different way of doing it. If we were going to do it with the little hole in like this, you would do it when it was flat before you'd put it through, because I don't think, with the best will in the world, that's not going to go in on there now that I've closed it. But we can now do a different type of finishing for this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it with some ribbon. Now, because I have chosen inside here, I have got these really rather lovely sort of Just Jade looking candles, little tea lights. What we can do is we can do this with the Just Jade ribbon. So I'm going to do it in 2 different ways with the ribbon so we can just sort of see. So you could do it with this one on here, turn it round underneath, and then just bring it up. Let's do it on here. So I'd take it through like this, tuck it in underneath. Right, I'm going to do it upside down. I'm getting myself into a twiddly on this. So you tuck this piece across like that, take it over to the other side, bring it up, and then tie a bow. So you could do it in that so that that would match the candles inside, or you can do it with some of this lovely sort of silver mesh, which again I think looks really pretty. So again, you could tie it up with there, any ribbon that you want really, and to just tie it through. But they make lovely little little boxes to house your tea lights. And as I say, this one I've got the little hole in. I think it looks better with a little notch cut out of, but it doesn't look too bad like this. You could also if you didn't want to have tea lights inside this, you can put, we take the tea lights out for a minute, you can put, so I've got some of our Stampin' Up pens that I write with. You could put some pens in there quite nicely and have it with that. You could put little square chocolates in. You can basically put whatever you want. It just makes a really lovely little tea light box because it fits 4 exactly perfectly. So nice little project for you, another one for your craft fairs. I know I've had a couple of subscribers that have turned around and said about the craft fairs, the only thing that we've got to do was to do our ends, so don't forget to put your little end pieces on, so you've got those as well, so it's covered right the way through. And we've got this piece that we forgot to put on here. So don't do as I do, do as I say, and make sure that you put your pieces all the way round. But a lovely, fun little project. And as I say, goes exceptionally well at craft fairs, particularly at Christmas time. So thank you so much for watching me. As always, please stay safe and well. Please be kind. I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.